Warrior Queenie had a peep over the right shoulder, and she's going to blow them away. But Northerly, Danny Miller pumping away, and Northerly wins the railway.
Welcome to Racing Rewind. Our panel will review and digest the Prime WA Saturday Thoroughbred meeting from 24 hours earlier. If you have an opinion, send a text to 0427 789 571.
Galaxy Star draws away from them. Pike Magician.
Yes, welcome along. It is Racing Rewind, and the team are in. Lochie and Michael, very good morning.
Good morning, Marty, Michael, and listeners. Great day there at Belmont Park yesterday. The HG Bolton Sprint, the highlight, and obviously the double for the Steve Wolf camp. It was outstanding scenes there yesterday at Belmont.
Yeah, nice tonic for Wolfie after a tough 24 hours prior to that for the team. Also, Annie King back in at stakes level glory. Boots like Bruce, terrific win in the feature. The final Saturday meeting of the season it was, so we can probably reflect on the season at some stage later on in the program. But Grant and Alana Williams back to their best, taking out the Metropolitan Trainers Premiership, and William Pike, of course, despite missing, what was it actually, 2.5 months, 3 months?
Yep.
A lot of riding anyhow. He's absolutely trotted in the Metro Premiership still.
And Matty Derrick is the leading apprentice rider, obviously with Luke Campbell on suspension this week and now going on holiday. Matty clearly the number one apprentice here in WA this season.
How'd the track play out there yesterday, Michael?
Well, our jockeys were really trying to get off the fence by all reports. I spoke to a couple of people that actually walked the track prior to the first, and that was what they expected. They said the inside looked pretty choppy. But reviewing the meeting last night, there were some horses that actually made ground along the rail. Of course, we saw William Pike win along the fence, but I think they went really fast in that race and they all fanned off the fence, and that probably helped his case. But I don't think he could come from too far back yesterday. A lot of the horses that were settling last or towards the rear of the field couldn't really make up a huge amount of ground. But if you were in those middle lanes, probably first half of the field, I think you were advantaged. But the inside probably wasn't as bad as what I actually thought throughout the program yesterday.
I thought the inside was off, and in reviewing it, that's the way I'm looking at the races. And then I have an exception here in WA, and it's when Willie Pike wins up the fence. I honestly just think it's a outlier, and I don't know what it is. Perhaps throughout the day the track dries out, it evens out, it becomes as bad everywhere. I'm not sure, but Willie Pike seems to be the only man that does it, and in that sense I feel like that's the exception. But in the meeting in its totality, I'm still thinking that those towards the fence were perhaps disadvantaged.
Yeah, we'll review race by race, but the later part of the day there were some horses that were still making a little bit of ground along the rail, but you definitely wanted to be in those middle lanes.
How about the Stipes room?
Not much to report at all, Marty. No suspensions. Obviously, there was a few riding changes, but other than that, all clear.
Race number one, the 2-year-olds went around in the Key Clean handicap. It was over the 1,000 metres.
Tave third. Longalicious gets up near the inside, followed by Keep It a Mystery, Goldmaker, Supernatural. Nicky Motor, though, at the 350, about to be challenged by Clean 'em Up, but Pike has to go to work. It's Nicky Motor, Clean 'em Up, Sunshine Tave, Goldmaker further back runs on. Also there, Keep It a Mystery, Clean 'em Up reaches the lead down inside the 100, though. It's Clean 'em Up, she's clear. Goldmaker's charging home, but it's 2 for 2 for Clean 'em Up, and Clean 'em Up wins it. Clean 'em Up from a great go for second and third. Sunshine Tafe got a dive in the centre.
Yeah, Clean 'em Up wins for Dion Luciani and William Pike. Sunshine Tafe good in second. Goldmaker home in third. Supernatural fourth.
Nice filly, this one. Clean 'em Up. Second up there yesterday. Had the blinkers being applied, and she was very, very professional. Just jumped well, travelled well. At one stage, did want to duck inside, but Willie Pike quickly straightened her up and found the line well. She's won by over a length and a half, and that winning margin could have easily been 2.5 lengths. Really like what she's doing. Interesting to note that Dion at this stage believes that he's just going to keep her in work heading towards a summer carnival. So it's hard to see any horses here in WA. They would have to win a trial very, very impressively to be competitive against a filly like her in the weeks to come.
Oh, I love her. She's a ripping type to look at visually, and she's quite foolproof as well. Oscar's Fortune, the full relation, had a few quirks early doors with the barriers and his getaways, but she seems pretty bomb-proof from what we've seen so far. She jumps. She did look a bit green in the straight, as what you mentioned there, and Pikey did sort of kid to her for a while. He didn't actually pull the stick till about the 100-metre mark when the race was pretty much over by then, so he just wanted to keep her mind on the job. But I'm not sure if the blinkers did a huge amount for her, to be honest. So she probably raced similarly to what she did on debut, but she's got a lot of ability, and she's certainly a horse that we can be following onto bigger and better things. From the Beaten Brigade, Sunshine Tafe was having her second start for the Peter Fernie yard, won a Kalgoorlie Maiden prior to that. Did have some luckless runs for Dion prior to that, but I thought she was a really good run running into second place. Goldmaker resumed, first up, no trial, made good late ground down that more preferential side of the part of the track, down those middle lanes. So for that reason, I really liked the run of the debutante Supernatural, who settled on the fence and made good late ground. And if you watch the replay, was in front of the other horses besides the winner after the line, and pretty much came in the first or second lane, making ground along that inside pad.
Absolutely. You just got the feel from Adam Durant and a few people on course yesterday that's a horse that you need to be following in Supernatural. Obviously, the full to Super Session, the stable star at the moment, and off that recent trial, she looks like a filly that has a great turn of foot. That was on display again there yesterday. Provided that Supernatural can avoid a horse like Clean 'em Up next start, I think she'll be awfully hard to beat. And I suspect she will, because you'd think that she'd go to 1,200 metres now, and if Clean 'em Up just continues on her winning ways at 1,000, I don't really see the point in stretching her out in trip.
Seemed to impress you from the yard, the filly, Michael?
Yeah, she's the best type in the race. She's big, strong, still got plenty of leg, and she can still fill out a bit more than what she has, but she's it's just a beautiful, beautiful type, and I think she's pretty progressive.
By rich enough too, so wins the first event.
Named after you?
No.
Has he won a Group 1? We'll get in early.
He stands at Woodside Park, I know that. Let's go to race number 2. The Russian Sniper keeps on winning for Adam Durant.
Judge is Major Mario, and over on the inside, Wednesday brings up the tail end of the field. Balancing up its I'm a Single Girl, headed immediately by Ultimate Commander. Now Pike lets Russian Sniper go. 2 lengths, Busters Free and Sunny Honey running on. He goes to work now, the Wizard, on the fave, and Russian Sniper down inside the last 100, boots away from them. Russian Sniper pricked the ears up and is in no danger. Russian Sniper comes away and wins it well from Ultimate Command. Make your point third from Busters Free, then Major Mario and Sunny Honey.
Tell us about this win there, Michael. Russian Sniper for Adam Durant and William Pike.
I think it was his 20th start of his preparation yesterday. Yep. It was phenomenal. And having a look here, he hasn't missed the top 3 in 7 starts. And prior to that, he ran 4th. Prior to that, he won again. So he's just had a remarkable campaign. He was always going to be hard to beat yesterday, but it was still a nice enough effort by the horse and the trainer. 3 starts to go over 1,400 metres. Yesterday was over 1,000, deep into a preparation. It's not easy to do. Did Adam say afterwards the reason for the distance drops?
No, not at all. Basically, he spoke about the constitution of the horse and almost the peculiar circumstances where it's a family-owned and bred horse combined with a charitable auction, I think it was, from maybe the Rockingham Beach Races. And he basically said he doesn't have to answer to anyone. So he just kept sending this horse round and round and round. And whilst the horse in his younger days was perhaps a fraction weak in terms of his constitution, just this racing has really hardened him up. And he appears to be a horse that's thriving on racing. And there's a similar race in a couple of weeks' time. So in Adam's opinion, he doesn't see why he can't continue to go on his winning ways.
Had a lovely run, 1 out, 1 back, and did it really easily. The second horse, that in the breeze, Ultimate Command, was first up, and the third horse, Make Your Point, took a sit yesterday, was leaders back and travelled really well into the straight, got the split and made a bit of late ground. The money was for Mitchell Pateman's horse, Busters Free, which was, I found, a little bit puzzling. 2.5 weeks since his previous run, and that was for trainer David Harrison. So I'm not sure Mitch could have changed too much in that time, but regardless of the stable change, 1,000 metres probably on the shorter side, and from what you can see just from the horse's replays at the moment, but still a nice enough run. Ran the second fastest closing splits, but just when the horse was wanting to gain momentum, the rest of the field skipped away. So I do think he's looking for a bit further now, because he came again late.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. His 2 wins previously with Harrow were over the 1,000 metres, but as we so often see, sometimes these horses just get that little bit older, start to look for more ground, and Buster's Free certainly looks like a horse that won't be too far away next start at 1,200 metres.
Major Mario were resumed over the unsuitable 1,000 off a bit of a freshen up, and I thought he was pretty good late. Look for him stepping up to 1,400 metres in the coming weeks. I think he's in for another nice prep.
Third event was the Glenroy Chaff Handicap over the 1,400 metres.
And King and Queen brings up the rear. Straightening for home now. Kraken Time makes its move. On the mark goes with it. Kraken Time on the mark. Beat off Barramundi. Rissoles behind those, followed by Dr. J. Further back behind those, that is King Salute, but down past the 150. Pike has to go to work on Kraken Time on the mark. They brush together. Kraken Time on the mark together. On the mark and Kraken Time. And now here's King Salute. King Salute is going to deliver the knockout blow in the last couple of strides. King Salute got home. King Salute won from on the mark. Tough run. Great performance in defeat in front of Kraken Time. Close up behind them came Memory Parade.
Well, Chris Parnham and Dan Morton combine with Oakland Park here, with King Salute winning by King's Troop.
Absolutely, Mart. I think this was an underrated win, King Salute. They went slow out in front. King Salute and Chris Parnham were shuffled in between runners back in the field, and when he got clear late, on the mark and Kraken Time, they had all the momentum throughout, albeit on the mark was 3 deep, no cover throughout. That was a massive run, but King Salute, the ability to pick up with top weight and really find the line well. I really, really enjoyed this win. I do feel like this is a race where plenty of these horses were chasing the West Speed bonuses and perhaps have come to the end of their campaign, and King Salute certainly wasn't one of them, but I really like this win, and I really do feel like this is going to be a horse that can go through his grades and perhaps be an underrated type in months to come.
Only coming out of a Class 3 at Pinjarra, but ran second by a nose to Little Silver, who won yesterday.
Yep.
So both horses...
And the start before, he ran third in a 66 plus.
Yeah, yep. And I think that was his 9th start of his preparation yesterday, so it's been a good job by horse and team. Beautiful horse to look at. He's a cracking type and clearly has good ability as well. The second horse was enormous on the mark, still a maiden going into yesterday. There was late money for him, which you always have to be wary of with Barry's runners when there is late money, about $18 into $9, I think the fluck was. 3 wide, no cover, stuck on. In a 3-year-old Saturday race, so he's clearly a follow out of the meeting. The third horse, Kraken Time, first time I've had a properly good look at him in the yard, because a lot of his racing has been done in the provincial circuit. Nice, big, strong type of a horse. Still did a bit wrong, got a bit worked up before the race, and I thought he was okay, stepping up to Saturday grade outside of from a Class 1, but he's probably a better horse ridden with cover. I think that'll be his go moving forward. Rissoles had every chance, settled one out, one back, and found the line quite well. The horse I was really pleased with was the 5th horse in Roaming Danger, who, watching the replay, made good late ground along that inside pad, kept coming through the line, and that wasn't the place to be on the day, so I think that was a much better run than probably reads on paper.
I agree. I think she's a really nice filly for Graham Ballantyne. Just going through this field, I just feel there are a few horses that, as I said earlier, that had probably come to the end of their prep.
Dr. J, one of those, had every chance.
Exactly. Even Rissoles, as you said, I thought she had every possible chance, and I have a fair opinion of her. So I think at her best, she goes a little closer. She certainly finishes in the top 3, but perhaps at the back end of what has been a fairly enduring first preparation, she may have just come to the end of it.
I thought Sky Talker was really disappointing, but looking at the steward's report, pulled up with some vet excuses there, mild lameness to the off-4, so that explains that. And also, Memory Parade, I thought could lead yesterday's race with the lack of speed that was engaged, but really had to be scrubbed up through the early stages and was ridden quite vigorously. So perhaps has lost the dash that we once saw of her, but wasn't a bad run. Did over-race and was caught in behind them in the straight. I think was a better run than reads on paper, but a tricky race all in all.
Okay, King's Troop, formerly at Oakland Park. I think it's gone to Tracy Rodwell, and I see on the mark by Shooting to Win from Oakland Park there as well. So, yeah, it was like a race with a potentially good 3-year-old. Do you come out of that race thinking the same or not? Well, a few reputations dented.
Oh, good question. I agree. I think I went into this race thinking that whilst it was a re-handicapped 57 plus, there were horses in this race capable of, being 70, 80 raters.
Cracking time?
Exactly. And perhaps it's just all come too soon for a few of them.
I think.
You said that before the race.
What's that?
About cracking time.
Yeah, I didn't like his parade, but I think he went unders from I think it's pretty clear that
from the Class 1 at Pinjarra.
He settled out. No, just from his performance yesterday. He settled outside later. A maiden on the mark settled 3 leg no cover outside of him and beat him home.
Good run.
So it was a terrific run by that horse. But I thought Crackin' Time, Rissoles, Dr. J, they all performed below expectations. Roaming Danger was a good run on the wrong side.
You would have seen this for about 50 years, Marty, since you've been doing the form. This time of year, it's just tricky. End of season, especially with the bonuses around, everyone's trying to get
Did he start following when he was 20 or something, did he?
Yes. Race 4, the Morley Growers Market Handicap. It's over the 1,000 metres. You got a bit of work to do there, Michael. Ginnivan. Oh, no wonder you're up and about, Lock.
Final siren. Pike stokes it up, comes off the inside to follow Ain't No Other Man. Then Nahachi, Valency, Brave Strike, and last Harmika. 300 left to go. Ginnivan's in front, draws a length. Ain't No Other Man. Pike has to go to work on final siren. And at the moment, Ginnivan's the horse to run down. 150 left to go. Ginnivan clear by 2. Final siren taking a long time to get there. Ginnivan's in front. Final siren won't get to Ginnivan. And Ginnivan beats final siren again. Ginnivan too good for final siren. Brave Strike snatching third from Ain't No Other Man, and then Hamika.
Well, you must have been wrapped about the win, betting the odds on Pop here.
Yep, for sure. He's a little homebred that has just exceeded expectations to some extent. He's just a really nice horse, and you just have to love his speed that he shows. Ooh. He just has great gate speed. The first 50 metres, there was talk of Ain't No Other Man potentially leading that race, but in-house between myself, Dad and Jace, we certainly thought that he had the speed to cross, and he crossed fairly easily, and from there just rated well. He got a breather for probably 50 metres, and then Jace rode him to his strengths, just letting him roll along and be a fast horse, and from there, final siren. We know he's a big, long-striding horse that perhaps appreciates galloping room, and when Willie Pike was pulling him out into clear air, Ginnivan was out and gone, and he couldn't pull him in late.
Yeah, it was a really good win. He's always shown that good speed that you referenced, but he's developed a real toughness about him now. I love the fact that he can absorb that speed, kick clear, and still be strong through the line. It's a terrific asset to have. I think he's really appreciated the softer tracks, this preparation as well. Last year, when he was flying, when he started his career, I should say, it was. I'll have a look now. He bolted on debut on a soft 5, and then he placed on a soft 6 second up. He didn't win through the summer, and they were all on good tracks. He's struck soft tracks this preparation, and he's gone to another level. So definitely think he's improved. He's got tougher, but softer tracks I think have benefited him as well. I didn't really think No Other Man could have the speed of Ginnivan pre-race, because No Other Man's more of a 1,200 metre horse, whereas
Musters.
Yeah, and Ginnivan's a real dashing 1,000 metre type. Final siren, still a nice enough run. Just Ginnivan, they've sort of taken turns a couple of times this preparation. They're both probably not far off each other in terms of ability. Like the run of Brave Strike. I liked her from the yard yesterday, and she ran well on that wrong side of the track. Another horse that I referenced sort of before we started doing the preview that did make ground along that inside pad and went around to Price, and it wasn't the place to be, but she still hit the line really well. I'm actually going to be following her because I think Final Siren's off to the paddock now. Does Ginnivan keep going?
Yes. There's a 72 plus 1,000 in 3 weeks' time, so whilst the tracks are nice and wet, he'll head in that direction.
Yep, and Brave Strike's rated a bit lower, so 71, so Ginnivan would be getting up there towards sort of probably higher 70s, I'd say. Yep. So hopefully Brave Strike can dodge Ginnivan moving forward. Ain't No Other Man, still another tough effort, and Harmika made some late ground, but I thought Ginnivan and Brave Strike were both very good.
Harmika, I thought, found the line okay. On her day, she's the type of mare that can really bob up and take a split, show a great turn of foot late. She might just be one to keep a little eye on. 365,000
Ginnivan's won now.
Yep, a great advertisement.
We wouldn't have to tell him that.
It's not my money.
Out of taken.
Percentages. Come on.
No, I don't have your type of operation.
Oh, come on.
Out of Taken High, what's the latest foal and what has he or she been called?
Well, we'll go to the text line. Save me some work.
No name.
The next one is a Machino, and the mare actually arrived to Universal Ruler yesterday morning. So
we've had On the Full and Ginnivan out of Taken High.
Yes. Yeah, Ginnivan a Universal Ruler for Scenic. So that's race number 4 done and dusted. We go on to race number 5 here, the Mrs. Max over the mile.
On its inside, Dessine. Further back, Benji's Playhouse Patron dropping out, come right back. Homeward bound, 3.50 to go. Savage One. Shifting ground, leads a length and a half. Lay, but Falcon Traders getting right up on the inside of them. Dessine working its way through. Then Admiration Express further back. Starry Heights, Falcon Trader had hit the lead from Savage One. Admiration Express and Dessine are coming. Dessine and Admiration Express, they've come together. They'll split the line. Dessine, Admiration Express, Dessine won at a breath. Admiration Express. Starry Heights wobbled out a bit under
Yes,
pressure.
it was Dessine. Jordan Rolfe, Paddy Carberry combining, beats Admiration Express. Falcon Trader. Starry Heights wanted to lay out a little bit in the straight there in 4th. Or in, out, I can't remember.
Maybe
I know it wasn't going to run first too.
Nice win this from Dessine and a lovely ride from Pat Carberry. Great to see Paddy back in some red-hot form, just allowing this horse to settle in a position where he was comfortable, and from there travelled into the race well, got out to what at this stage we thought was the superior part of the track, a terrific ride, and just nabbed Admiration Express late, who was a big improver a month between runs, 2,200 metres back to the mile. I loved her effort there yesterday, but all honours to Geordie Rolfe and Pat Carberry on what I thought was nearly right of the day.
Would have been a bit of banter between Geordie and Jason Miller winning that photo, and Adam's horse back in 4th or 5th.
Adam assured me after the races that Geordie would be getting stitched up at the bottle on the way home.
Nice West Speed Platinum result as well, being a 4-year-old, a West Speed Platinum 4-year-old, last race of the season. So that's another big result for them. But Desinee's sort of been changing distances, been changing racing patterns. He's been trying to tinker him. I thought that he might be on his mark now, Desinee. So I think he's done a wonderful job, Geordie, to be able to squeeze another win out of him. As you mentioned, Admiration Express, a really good run, freshened up a month between runs. Geez, didn't Falcon Trader look the winner though? Just absolutely humming in the run, and was gunned down late by a couple of nice enough horses and was on the wrong part of the track. He continues to race well. Starry Heights, I think probably looking for a bit further now, perhaps at this stage of his career. I wasn't sure about his run. I'd said pre-race I thought he was one run off because he's a big horse that sort of carries condition, and he raced a little bit like that, but he's still found the line well enough over the last 100 metres. So, and it was a day that was difficult to make up ground, but in saying that, he settled in a pretty similar spot to the winner, Desinee. So I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, he might be better up in distance at this stage of his career. That
might be a good guess, in my opinion. He's just been a peculiar horse for a little while now. Starry Heights. What did he win? He won about 6 in a row at one stage, and he looked like a railway stakes type. You know, the horses that are lowly rated, you get in on the minimum. That looked like the trajectory he was going in, but he just hasn't quite been able to live up to perhaps those expectations that were on him back then. Yeah, maybe he's just looking for more ground now. He is a 4-time winner over the mile, but perhaps now he's just looking for that little bit further. Star Turn. So. Star Turn,
okay. Yes, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him moving forward, but just from a yard perspective, I think there is improvement in him. He's a big sort of heavy, gross horse, and Grunt Alanas are generally quite screwed down, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him improve sharply 3rd and 4th up. Savage One battled on quite well for a distance that's right at his limit range, but the disappointment was clearly Lay and also Playhouse Patron to a certain extent. But geez, Lay, that was not the horse that we've become accustomed to. He sat in the breeze, appeared to get things quite soft. They went pretty steady in this race throughout in terms of tempo, and he was very, very disappointing. Savage One actually beat him home, the leader.
Exactly right. You could just tell from a fair way out that Lay wasn't the same horse there yesterday. Savage One, I know, rolled them along at a reasonable tempo, but in my head, in running, I was thinking that would suit a horse like Alay. We all know how tough he is, but he just wasn't in the fight there yesterday.
I think they went a fair bit steadier than the. Oh no, sorry, scratch that.
You right, mate?
The Ginger Green race, I think it was run a little bit slower than this one.
Kraken off the text line has sent in a text. He had a 10-legger multi coming up places. Alay.
Oh. Last leg. Oh. Geez, and that's one you'd be probably most confident on.
It's a vicious game we play.
Don't have to be dead to be stiff.
No, and start turning. I think he stands at Vinery for 27,500. If you're interested, Mike.
Further back is Fluoro Neuro, Atlantis Beach, Pagey's turn, cut the corner, and likewise the Spruker, Birdie Eagle, Filthy Habits. On the outside, Ginger Green, Fine Touch now comes with her run. Wango Award got cramp for galloping room at the 175. Ginger Green responding. The stablemate, the Spruker's getting home well. Ginger Green's in front, Fine Touch battles away, but Ginger Green's holding them. Wango Award comes, but Ginger Green too good. Ginger Green, there's a great boost for Steve Wolf. Ginger Green beat Wango Award. Or on the rail, the Spruker, then Noteworthy.
Horse flying, isn't it? Ginger Green beats Wango Award, the Spruker for the stable, and Noteworthy back in fourth.
Absolutely, Marty. The horse has been going terrific in Westbead Platinum grade, and I know we always knock the Westbead Platinum races to some extent, but I think you needed to realise that this horse had been carrying 61 kilos all campaign, and whilst he only dropped a couple kilos there yesterday, he just had a lovely run in the 66 plus. One out, one back from Paul Harvey in the early stages of the race, where they appeared to roll along at a nice tempo. Paul Harvey post-race said that the horse just needs some galloping room. So whether that's in a one out, one back position like he was there yesterday, or leading in the start prior, he just had galloping room. He had options to pop off when he wanted to, and from there he found the line really, really nicely. It's hard to know what his ceiling is because he's a 6-year-old and he's had plenty of racing, so this might just be his level, but he's another example of horses that clearly enjoy getting their toe into the ground, and we're seeing the best of him today.
Nice result for Wolfie there, with the stablemate finishing third as well. The Spruker. Wango Award was a really good run. Looked outstanding yesterday, Wango Award, but I thought at that stage of the day the fence was really off, but he was able to get off the fence and into that better part of the track, and was actually held up at a certain stage as well. But I think the winner was pretty strong through the line. I don't think it changes the result, but still a really good run by Wango Award. Spruker was on that wrong part of the track, but still made really nice ground from about 3 back the fence and along the fence. So you still could do it. It was just it wasn't impossible, but it was certainly more advantageous to be towards the middle. I tipped Noteworthy this race, settled a long way back, and made pretty good late ground. Ran the fastest closing sectionals, but just wasn't quite able to catch those first few who settled a bit handier to the speed, and that was pretty much the story of the day. And Fine Touch, I thought, was probably only fair in review. Absolutely.
Yeah, had every possible chance, and to run fifth I thought was perhaps a shade disappointing. I think with the run that she had throughout, 1 out, 2 back, in behind a nice speed, in fact followed Ginger Green. I think punters that were on Fine Touch at the each way price would have been keen to see her finish a little closer in the end.
The last 100 was the disappointing part for me.
Exactly right.
Wasn't strong through the line.
I was very keen on Noteworthy's run there yesterday. I thought that had plenty of merit when you consider the fact that the 2 horses that she followed and had to run around in Atlantis Beach and Fluoro Neuro were beaten 6 lengths and 11 lengths respectively. I thought that was a terrific run. As we've touched upon, it was difficult to make up ground from that far back in the field, so I thought her closing splits were very, very good, and she'll be a horse to follow next up.
From the text line, Alay did sweat up in the parade ring. Is this normal for this horse, Michael?
Yeah, every start. I don't think I've ever tipped him from the yard before, Alay, because he's not the sort of horse that presents that well. I tipped Falcon Trader from the yard yesterday, but no, that's perfectly normal for him. He was actually a bit better yesterday than what he normally is, so perhaps that's why he was usually he's quite jig-joggy as well as sweating up. He was with the clerk yesterday and he was sweaty, but his demeanour seemed a bit more relaxed, so perhaps he is a horse that needs to be quite fiery to be at his best.
Morning, boys. Ben Bunbury, painful day on the punt. Back Dessonay, every start, not yesterday. Didn't think he goes a yard at Belmont, and bloody showmanship backed him nearly every start to not yesterday. Kicking myself today. Any winners for Cal? Well, we'll get to that a little bit later, Benny. I'm sure the boys here will have a winner for you for Kalgoorlie. Race number 7. Get those Sunday saviours into. A little bit quiet today. 0427 789 571. The HG Bolton Sprint was over the 1,200 metres.
Covering additional ground. Back near the inside, Son of a God, Red 53, still well off them. Around the outside, coming around them here on the outside is Duchess of Gossip by the 275 though. It's Pooley with a kick. Pooley a length and a half, Man Crush. Boots Like Bruce, it starts to run on strongly. Boots Like Bruce hits the front, goes up, grabs the lead. Further back, Vastart, Saloon Bar, Duchess of Gossip. But Boots Like Bruce had booted clear. Boots Like Bruce is going to win the Bolton. Boots Like Bruce, more than 2 at the finish. Hectic goes second and third. Saloon Bar deep out. Red 53, Man Crush, and Vastart in that group as well. Right behind the Minsk Moment, Son of a God, Poorly weakening.
Geordie Turner, My Dilemma.
Yeah, I think she'll be on the breeding bar now.
Steve Parnham, Saloon Bar.
Yeah, solid effort. They went fast and I was riding hard for most of the race, but it kept coming at the end.
Thank you. Brad Parnham, Vastart.
It was a really good run. I just got caught deep and just working that little bit extra. So I think if I got in, I'll probably run second.
Thank you. Keshel Duran goes 2 walks.
He's probably draw wide. He should be probably draw inside and should be finish off well and very big weight and probably next start. Thank you.
Clint Johnston Porter, Minx Moment.
Yeah, look, I was disappointed with his run. He travelled up like the winner and just didn't let down. So go back to the drawing board and hopefully we can find something wrong with him because he's a lot better than that.
Chris Parnham, Man Crush.
Yeah, nice run from him. Had to absorb a lot of pressure up front, but he was pretty game to the lock.
Lakhdar Ramali, Pooley.
Battle all right. 1,200 maybe a bit too long for him. Should go back to 1,000.
Lucy Fiore, Duchess of Gossip.
Just stepped slow again. Had an okay run, probably just like a bit exposed early, having to work into it and in probably the harder part of the track. So it was only a fair run.
Jason Whiting, Goddess of Giving.
Yeah, a bit disappointing. Never ran on it all.
All right. What'd you make of them, Locke?
Great win.
Yeah, boots.
Congratulations to Annie King. This horse is just the X factor that he possesses. It's hard to quantify. He was an enormous rising class, 66 plus into a listed Bolton, and he absolutely pants them. It was a great ride from Pat Carberry, brought up the second leg of a double, and it looked like the type of horse that could potentially really improve against a better class of horse, and that's exactly what was on display yesterday. And I think the most impressive part of the performance yesterday for me was that late when he hit the front, I got nervous. I was thinking, what's this horse going to do?
Yeah.
But he ran nice and true all the way through the line, and I'm not sure where he'll go to next, but he's just absolutely flying this campaign, and he's almost been the find of this winter period throughout the Belmont season.
Is it the Newmarket that's next? What's the next? I think there's another 1,200 metre race.
Yes, the Newmarket.
Yeah.
So perhaps he heads that way.
So he raced outside the handicap yesterday, but went in as an 82. I think yesterday was an 88 plus from memory, so he'll copy his 10 points for the win, perhaps even more considering the margin, but I don't think it really matters when you get to that level now. He'll probably be racing in this grade and even wait for age moving forward. But, geez, his current trajectory, if he was to come out and win again next start in the Belmont Newmarket or whatever the next race is, are you almost thinking freshening for a Winterbottom?
I know, it sounds stupid, and you almost...
You sort of have to.
You doubt yourself when you say it, but it is heading in that type of direction, albeit... As we were discussing off air, I don't think this was a vintage edition of the Bolton, and I think we'll get a really good guide in regards to what his ceiling is next start in the Newmarket. Can he do it back-to-back if he heads in that direction?
Yeah.
Because I'm still of the opinion that the horse could be a Hannon's type of horse. Why couldn't he run 1,400 metres?
Yeah, on type he definitely can, but I guess a nice winter field yesterday, but chalk and cheese to what he would meet in a Winterbottom as well. He defeated Man Crush yesterday, and obviously Man Crush is a ripping horse. What's he won? 500,000, 600,000. Great money spinner, but he's not a Group 1 horse or a top echelon of sprinters here in WA. Still a really nice run by Man Crush there yesterday, though. He absorbed a really hot speed and battled on well to run second. Saloon Bar was good first up, no trial. I think he'll be a sharp improver as well. Just looking at him yesterday, second up, I'm keen to be following him in whatever the next race is. Red 53, similarly, I thought was a really good run, and Vast Art I thought was okay. Mink's Moment, Clint was really disappointed in the beaten jockeys following the race. Actually ran home in the fastest or second fastest closing splits of the race outside of Boots Like Bruce. But watching the replay, I thought was only fair, but after looking at the sectionals and going back again, I don't think he was that bad from how far back he was.
So looking at the results yesterday, Boots Like Bruce, he's won by 3.3 lengths.
Yep.
If we assume that all these horses are going towards the Newmarket in a couple of weeks' time and take that logical progression, how do we see improvement out of these horses to turn around that 3-length margin?
That's why I like Saloon Bar. I thought yesterday he's a gross sort of a horse, didn't trial. I actually think I left him. He's a beautiful looking horse, but I think I left him out of my 4 because I thought he would perhaps need it, but he was a really good run making late ground, and he's a horse that ran 5th in a quokka, didn't he, or a 6th in a quokka or something. So we know that his peak and his ceiling is good enough, and he's the horse that I would be following out of this race.
So what are the conditions of the Newmarket?
I think it's the same.
It's a handicap.
Listed 1,200 metre handicap.
Well, he'll be up 3 kilos at least, wouldn't he? So that gives him
It could be a very, very differently assessed race from a handicap perspective, because Mink's Moment was disappointing yesterday. Goes 2 walks, he finished a long way back, and he's generally done his best racing at the 1,000. So they're the 2 top weights. They might not head in that direction, so it's going to be interesting from that perspective.
Belmont Newmarket handicap fortnight.
I actually think that an improver out of yesterday could be Man Crush if Pooley didn't go. I do recall Merrill Haley saying a month or so ago that because of Pooley's wind problems that perhaps the 1,000 is his best trip now. Yesterday that was on display because
Lakdar said that
because he led them a merry dance but just wasn't there in the finish like he was in the Beaufine. Perhaps with Man Crush being able to find the front, he might be an improver, but to be honest, I find it hard to see them beating Bruce next start again.
Okay, one here from the text line. Morning, boys. Do you have Shane Warren's tips for Calgary today, please? Need something to spend my winnings on after Michael's $10 winner from the yard in the last yesterday. Cheers, Steve.
Do we have Shane's tips?
I think I have. I think these are them. It's got KW, so I imagine that's Shane Warren. Race 4, number 3. I've just got to check these up as we go. Race 4, number 3, make sure. Yes, race 4, number 3, Celestial Fox. Race 5, number 2, and that is Rywood. And race 7, he's gone 5 and 7. A little bit of value in race 7, 5 and 7.
When did you have Shane on?
He's on every Friday.
I missed it.
Yeah, he comes on. And also we had Annie King. She was on Wednesday's drive.
Yep.
And she had runners everywhere. She had them at Roburn, everywhere. And she said best of the weekend comes up in the Bolton.
Yep.
Punters. And I did receive a photo of a man who'd had a good bet on it. Boots Like Bruce. At the races.
And he was?
Oh, I can't say. I can't say that. Race number 8, the celebrating racehorse owner Tanya Jeffries handicap over the 1,200 metres.
And Pearly Nugget is next, supportive, heads the others as they come to the turn. Dennis Shoe behind those. Balbecker's raced up to Famous Journey and leading Taddy on the outside, the Great Hoya. Here's Pearly Nugget chiming in and coming through. Keep Attacking on the inside together with Sentimental Bell and Hostile Talk. So they race down to the 200. Keep Attacking in the centre. On the outside is Hostile Talk. Sentimental Bell's over on the inside. Sentimental Bell has grabbed Keep Attacking and Sentimental Bell. Sentimental Bell wins a length to Keep Attacking. Hostile Talk and Dennis Shoe has run 4th. Then came Birds the Word, supportive, Pearly Nugget, Invincible.
Paddy McDermott calling the last 2. Old Cobb was making money somewhere else. And race number 8, it was Sentimental Bell. Beats Keep Attacking and Hostile Talk, a Grant and Alana trifecta.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Don't see that too often, but Sentimental Belle, she's a homebred by Nakoni out of Sentimental Star, and there's always been an element of hype and a little bit of a rap on this mare, but I just think the wet tracks throughout this winter period, we've been able to see the best of her. That was on display again yesterday. Her last win was on a heavy 8 at Northam. Yesterday on a soft 7, she's just really gone to a new level, being able to get her toe into the ground. And there yesterday, on what we thought was the inferior part of the track, and as I said, Willie is generally the exception to the rule, and perhaps the track was evening out throughout the course of the 7 races prior, but Sentimental Belle, she was 4 back the fence there yesterday and still won by over a length. So terrific win. I'm not sure what they do with her moving forward, but I suspect that provided that she's holding up to her racing well, she'll just keep going round and round whilst the tracks are nice and wet.
Sean McGruddy settled 3 back the fence on King's Attacking, got the run through and finished off quite well. He actually said after his win in the last race that he didn't think the inside was horrible, but it was clearly not as good as being in that middle part of the lane. So I think that sort of told the story, and the fact that he settled on the fence and said that shows that you probably could still perform well there, but you were definitely advantaged to be further out. The third placed horse, the stablemate, of course, Hostile Talk, finished off really well. Came from a fair way back, as they all sort of did in this race, cutting the corner. And Dennis Shue, first up, no trial, 6 months. I thought that was a pretty good run for a horse who I know David Harrison pre-race was concerned about his wet track form, that he'd had 3 goes on soft tracks over east for duck eggs. And yesterday I thought was a pretty good return from him. I think he can just about be a follow. He's a horse that can settle quite prominently in a run as well, but there was a fair amount of speed in yesterday's race, so I think Dennis Shue can be picking up a race at some stage this winter.
I really like the run of Bird's the Word. He had to carry 61 kilos yesterday, and he was in between runners.
It's chasing.
It's never easy to pick up in between runners under a big weight, so for a horse that won over 1,400 metres only 2 starts ago, I really feel that this horse is just absolutely flying at the moment. He's tough. He races on speed up to 1,400 metres next start. It wouldn't surprise me to see him go around at a price, and he can definitely run you a race.
Yeah, another horse that was looking for that last bit of west speed there yesterday. Supportive was even. Pearly Nugget ran a better race, but was still beaten just under 6 lengths. There was a huge margin spread for this race. So it was about 16 lengths first to last, but that was Sweet Tea who tailed off. The second last horse was still beaten 11, so they did go pretty quick, and some horses at that stage of the day couldn't quite keep up. But out of the in terms of following from this race, I think Dennis Shue could be one we can keep an eye on moving forward.
One here from James is Boots Like Bruce, the best son of Alfred Noble.
Would have to be close to it. There aren't many superstars.
No.
Showy Chloe, the former decent mare, I think she might have been an Alfred Nobel.
Showy
Chloe?
Showy Chloe.
Jason Payman?
Yeah. Jason Payman, yeah. I'm pretty sure she was a...
Check that one. I'm not doubting her, but I'm...
Sounds like you are.
Well,
Alfred Nobel, correct.
Yeah, there you go. Race 9, the Accolade Wines Handicap over the 1,300 metres, rounded out a terrific day.
Ruddy with Little Silver moves up, makes a line of 3 as they corner. Category 3 right in behind them with Mistrakova, then Starring Knight, followed by Top of the Pops, who's at the head of the others from Mount Nash. Down towards the 250, going up as Little Silver. Little Silver's grabbed the lead here from Siberian Siren. Mistrakova along the inside. They were followed further back to Category 3. It's Little Silver. Mistrakova on the inside at the 100 trying. Little Silver, though, is holding. And Little Silver, McGruddy for Wolfie. It's a double. Little Silver, 1.5. Mistrakova, photo 3rd, Category 3 with Siberian Siren. Telling away Rationale.
Yes, Matty Mac gets into the theme of the day. Well done there for Wolfie. And Little Silver, well tipped from the yard there, Michael.
Oh, thanks, Mart. Thanks, Steve. Those punters.
Fire away. Go on. It's your tip.
Now, lovely ride there by Sean McGruddy. He said, as I've referenced before, post-race, that he wasn't too keen to be near the fence, and he probably wasn't going to be there from his barrier anyhow, and he was actually happy to sit 3 deep, but the race played out really well, and he was able to slot in 1 out, 1 back. I thought he was the breeze horse in the race, but he ended up being able to slot in just behind them and then getting an even better run than that. The horse looked outstanding yesterday. It was a tough win over 200 metres further his start prior, and he dropped 3 kilos from that effort, and a nice way to round out the day for Wolfie, no doubt. Miss Drakova has continued to look outstanding, and she's a hard horse to catch, but she won her last start and she ran a nice second there yesterday. What do you make of Siberian Siren? I thought first up she was all the rage and she won, but she was sort of knocking up late noticeably in that race, and I thought she was probably not that strong through the line first up, and yesterday she weakened a little bit late as well. I'm not sure. Perhaps is she a better horse with a bit of cover so she can be a bit stronger late?
Perhaps, yeah. I thought that the first up run, just watching it, you can provide an excuse and say, okay, she may have just knocked up late, but in the end was still good enough to win. And there yesterday, I thought that with the benefit of that run, she would have been rock hard fit and hardened for the 1,300 metres second up. But yeah, she was really, really playing late. It looked like she was going to play a part in the finish all throughout this race, but in particularly the last 200 metres, Little Silver went straight past her, but even after that, I thought she was only fair and perhaps has gone back a length or two from what we saw from her first up.
Yeah, I think maybe 1,200 metres might be her go. She was tested over 1,400 last start of her last prep and failed. Prior to that, she ran second in the Magic Millions over 1,200. Prior to that, she won over 1,000. So perhaps she's a 1,200 metre type.
And now that she's getting up in grade, perhaps ridden a little bit quieter as well, she might just be struggling to do it at both ends.
Category 3 was pretty good there yesterday. I thought it was an improved run. Didn't appear to like the whip at all. I thought every time that Joey pulled the stick, she swished the tail. So perhaps she might be a type that does that sort of resents that sort of riding style. Rationale was a really good run first up, but not a horse and an ageing mare that you can be following. Top of the Pops was an improver. But all in all, I thought terrific ride, Sean McGrady, and well-deserved win.
Absolutely.
Okay, take a break and we'll have horses to follow next.
On Racing Rewind, it is time for the boys to look back and determine who are the black bookers, the ones to be on next start, the horses to follow.
Okay, Michael, give us something.
4 for me. I like the debut run of Supernatural, Adam Durant's 2-year-old. On the mark, clearly a follow the maiden. Brave Strike, I think, was a nice return. And Roaming Danger, keep an eye on her. I thought she was a good run on the wrong side of the track.
3 for me, On the Mark as well. Love the run of Brave Strike and Falcon Trader. Just keep following him. I love the gear change that they made a few starts back with the blinkers going on. Wrong part of the track there yesterday. He's an on-speed, tough horse. Just keep following him.
And I'll throw in Saloon Bar for the Belmont Newmarket.
A couple of sessions getting thrown in there as well. Supernatural by Sessions. A minute to go, so let's get our winners for Calgary Boulder Race Club's 8-event card today.
We've heard them, haven't we, from KW?
You're not entering in?
No.
Debonair will just continue on his winning ways, Marty.
Horse, isn't it?
Yep.
It's the one to follow out of the meeting, isn't it?
Fiona Scott flying. Vic Corver rides the horse well. $2.50.
Yeah, Jesus building up a nice picket fence.
Oh, it's a city horse for sure. No
There's been good
that.
money for Brazen Impress, who I think can be hard to beat race 5 at Kalgoorlie, actually. Creshane's tipped Rywood there, who is going particularly well. But
do you take him on?
Apprentice on, gets back. I'll go Brazen Impress, who I think will be right there on the hammer.
Race 7, number 8, Duo Mosso for me for Tash Faithful. Leah Ernest to take us through the morning into the afternoon. Thanks to Sophie Stone. Thanks for coming in, lads.
Thank you.